Okay, so there's many different types of sons, right? So you got a son that's exactly like the father, because the father's engaged, does stuff with the son, makes it interesting, plays games or tries to teach and, be the big dog and, lead your son. Okay, then there's the fathers that aren't there, and the son wants to be like them because they're not there, and they just have an idea. So so it's that icon, that idol, or the son's mad because the father's not there, and the son doesn't want to be like the father at all, right? And then you have the sons that some will take the side of the mom if the parents are fighting, and then some will take the side of the dad if the parents are fighting. So, that can go either way. Because the son that takes the side of the father, if the parents are fighting, is going to be more of a machismo. And he'll still provide, in some cases, love for the mom or attention to the mom, but, it's kind of like at a upper level, like, yeah, dad, we know women are crazy and mom's a girl too. So so that goes like that. And if the son is with the mother, takes the mother's side, then the son could feel like, I don't know, son could turn out gay, maybe. Because maybe they feel the father's too masculine. If the father's masculine, but if the father's a wimp and the mom pushes the son around, mom pushes the father around, that son could have a different outlook too. That father could have no respect for the father or love the father and become gay. So it's crazy. It's crazy. How and some sons like follow the mother and father's advice together when they're a team. Some sons will follow their own advice when they don't want to follow the mom's advice and the father's not there. It's a crazy situation. Like, how does a son end up being a good son or a bad son? I guess really that's the whole premise of it. Like, what makes a son good and what makes a son bad? Like there's some sons that don't have any regard because they're not taught, right? Well, it all comes to upbringing, because if a son is going to have respect for the father's belongings and stuff, that's up to the parents, and the son will have to have respect for other people's belongings too. So that will be up to the parents to make sure the son respects stuff. And if the son doesn't respect stuff, that means the father, especially more than not, because it's a son here we're talking about, the father has to actually lay down the law. So there's all different kinds of men to be made and with the inception of the fathers. And like, there's some sons that are taught right, and then they'll go over the edge, and it's a mistake, and they become an embarrassment. So now their ego could either be bolstering their actions, which is wrong, which totally separates them from the parents altogether, or they could always be the little kid because they didn't exit the rearing process successfully, and they fucked up later on in life. So then the son becomes belittled and less, and then it's like there's all kind of stuff like that. There's sons that are not like the fathers, and may have more of an impression from the mom, and the father may not like the son because of that. There's sons that the fathers are old and the son's kind of new wave, so the father looks at new wave stuff as like back in the day, it could be pansy and prissy and gay. So the father might not respect the son's masculinity. And then if the father and the mother, like, they don't know about the world outside, and the son goes out there, then they might think that the son is getting confused or making bad decisions, when honestly the world has changed and there's so many people right now, because like, say, I'm 51, so my parents are in their 70s and 80s, so therefore, like, they detach from the son in that case, and then because it's a son, he'll get cast out because he's a man, a boy. He doesn't deserve help, or respect, because that's the old school way. You know, especially if you're Greek, they'll take you out when you're 7 or 9 years old. Beat the shit out of you, drag you like 10 miles away, and say, "Okay, fuckbag, come back in a couple of years." That's what they used to do. That's Greek lineage. You know. Amish people have it different, but that's the whole thing about sons, and then like some fathers, and mothers, they're like, okay, the older brother or sister comes first because they're older, in certain things, but then, then there's like, okay, you're always the baby, and it's just like, anyway, like I don't get no respect. And some sons do, and some sons are absolute pieces of shit. I mean, there's some sons out there that that are just problematic, and or they just don't have that level of respect and consideration, and they'll get unconditional love. And then there's sons that are just struggling and dealing with things, and they don't get unconditional acceptance. You know, so it's kind of crazy. But as a son, it's your responsibility to keep up in contact with the old people, because see, technology was ours. Even though they would think that the world's so much better and easier because you could look up porn on fucking your phone and order stuff online. It's not easy for the old people in that respect, because they can't do much more than stuff like that. A lot of them. And they're not bloggers. They're not out there with opinions. You know, so the men of today's day and age are different than the men of the past, and the sons of today are everything that a disappointment they could be to their fathers. Is what's going on today, and a lot of the sons that are not disappointments to the fathers have been graced and brought in under the wing and facilitated and funded. So those sons never have to look as the face of struggle, And a lot of the fathers, in my age bracket, whatever, in a generational category, a lot of fathers didn't have to struggle either. And some did, but there's a lot of dementia and there's a lot of other things going on because of mental capacities of everybody that gets old, and things just become clear to them in their own certain way that has nothing to do with reality a lot of times. So it's not easy being a son from an estranged family, that once was like a Leave It to Beaver situation in Three Peas in a Pod. There's always some kind of mental fuckery going on. But, when you're a son, if you have to struggle, it's better to struggle alone. Because it just doesn't make sense, If you have no one as a peer or as a figurehead for you, then you just have to be your own man. I mean, for myself, like, I have to be my own man because I'm in a different state. I'm in a different way. I've dealt with things that my family and parents haven't dealt with, like profiling. Like, in Ashboro, I was the new black to the security supervisor, and I got trespassed. So like his family, they stick up for him, but their daughters and he's the big man. Okay, so like there's no one sticking up for me because I am a solo dude, male man. So I am the man. That's all there is to it, because there's no one else here, and like there's no one else there. And that's what life's about. When you're a son, don't be a son of a gun. Be a son of the universe. Hey, it works.